Welcome, brave souls, to another chilling episode of our scary stories. I am your host, peeling back the veil of the mundane to reveal the eerie truths lurking in the shadows. Tonight, we plunge into the abyss of the unknown, tuning into a frequency that carries a message not from our world but beyond, a message that spells a tale of impending doom. As you brace yourself, remember, once you embark on this journey with us, there's no turning back. So, gather your courage and delve into the harrowing tale of the frequency. A World of Herman Baxter was an orchestration of beeps and static. As a reclusive radio enthusiast, he resided in a time-worn house, quietly cloistered on the outskirts of a town that had all but forgotten him. The house, a groaning monument to years past, stood stoic under the weight of time. It creaked under the strain of the forgotten secrets it held within. The heart of the secrets lay in Herman's radio room, a labyrinth of antique equipment breathing with an electronic life of its own. Radio sets, oscillators, Morse code keys, and vacuum tubes cluttered the space, casting eerie shadows that danced on the peeling wallpaper. A dense coppery scent of aged technology pervaded the air, punctuated by the faint, nostalgic aroma of old paper and ink from the teetering stacks of notebooks. Among the rhythmic symphony of radio signals, there was an anomaly, a mysterious frequency that permeated the silence, a sound like the haunting whistle of a distant, alien wind. Herman, a spectacled man with a grayed mustache and crow's feet etched deep from years of squinting at tiny dials and screens, was drawn towards it, his interest piqued. He'd heard many things on the airwaves, but nothing like this. Fingers trembled over dials, tuning into the spectral hum, his heart echoing with an unusual mix of fear and thrill. The sound was uncanny, wavering between a low hum and a high-pitched whistle. It sent a shiver up his spine, making the hairs at the back of his neck stand on edge. His hands, aged and wrinkled, clung tightly to the headphones as if it was his lifeline. His grandson, Jack, a tall and lanky teenager with skepticism etched onto his face, visited that day. As he walked into the room, he felt the chill that ran around, the raw, electric air that whispered of secrets, making him feel as though he'd walked into the belly of a beast that was ready to divulge its tales. "What's that sound, Gramps?" Jack asked, his voice echoing in the quiet room. His eyebrows knitted together in a mix of curiosity and concern. "Just a strange frequency," Herman replied, a shiver of fear apparent in his voice. His eyes flickered with a strange light as he looked at Jack, passing an unspoken message. Jack, who had heard of his grandfather's eccentricities, couldn't help but feel a shiver of apprehension. The room, the sound, the sight of his grandfather so engrossed. It was all too strange. But he shrugged off the feeling, attributing it to his overactive imagination. Little did he know that this day was just the beginning, an opening to a tale that would grip them both in its spectral song. A tale that started with a frequency. Herman Baxter's world became dominated by this symphony of signals and static. As the days rolled into nights, the enigmatic frequency took center stage in his existence. It became an unsolved riddle, a cosmic whisper that promised a secret of galactic proportions. His radio room became his universe. The humming of electrical devices, the sporadic crackling of radio signals, and the faint aroma of solder wire became the sensory orchestra of his existence. While tuning into the frequency, he could almost taste the metal on his tongue, an odd testament to the strangeness the sound brought forth. In this labyrinth of cables and outdated equipment, he started his daunting task. His hands moved like well-practiced dancers across the keys, while his eyes, framed by thick glasses, studied the waveforms on a bulky oscilloscope. The cryptic messages translated into waves and graphs, squiggly lines that made little sense to an untrained eye, but held a world of meanings to Herman. The unearthly frequency manifested like a lamenting lullaby of the cosmos, whispering in languages unknown. There was a rhythm, a pattern to it that was too intricate to be naturally occurring signals. No, this was deliberate, crafted by intelligence not of this world. Herman shivered, not from the cold of the room, but from the creeping realization of the enormity of his discovery. In the outside world, where birds chirped and the wind whispered among the leaves, his grandson, Jack, found himself standing at the doorstep of his grandfather's home, the strange conversation from his previous visit still fresh in his mind. He was a stranger to the language of frequencies and waves, a world his grandfather held dear. And yet, an odd curiosity tugged at him. The peculiar sound that he had heard felt like a distant echo in his mind, pulling him back to his grandfather's enigmatic world. A return visit brought him back to the ominous radio room. The sight of his grandfather hunched over the radio equipment, surrounded by the ethereal glow of the vacuum tubes, presented an image that seemed almost surreal. "What are you hearing, Gramps?" Jack asked, his voice a low murmur in the static-filled room. "It's more than just sound, Jack," Herman responded, his voice strained with the weight of unspoken fears and undiscovered secrets. "It's a message from far beyond our world." As the strange hum filtered through the room, Jack felt a chill course through him. His heart pounded in his chest, and he felt himself drawn into the vortex of the inexplicable mystery that was about to reshape their lives forever. The eerie tone had sounded the prelude to a story that was going to unravel in the heart of this radio room. A story that was going to change everything they thought they knew about their universe. Within the time-forgotten walls of his house, Herman Baxter delved further into his enigma. A typical day turned into a marathon of decoding efforts, each passing hour shrouding him further in the mystery of the haunting frequency. Sleep became a distant memory, a luxury he could not afford as he sunk deeper into the labyrinth of alien sounds. His radio room bore the marks of his obsession. Notes littered the floor, taped on walls, and stacked high on the wooden desk. They were brimming with hastily written observations and hypotheses, each a testament to his tireless endeavor. The room hummed with the symphony of equipment, the scent of heated wires, the gentle warmth radiating from the ancient machinery, all blending into a sensory cocktail that heightened his experience. The cryptic frequency was a siren's song, pulling him into uncharted territories of knowledge and fear. He discovered patterns, rhythms, and sequences that pointed to intelligent construction. The messages were encoded, designed to be deciphered, and Herman took it upon himself to unlock the secret. As he spiraled further into the heart of the mystery, the unshakable feeling of an impending alien invasion began to haunt him. Meanwhile, the world outside moved at its own pace. The sun rose and set, painting the sky with colors of time. People went about their everyday lives, oblivious to the monumental secret hidden in Herman's solitary existence. Jack, however, found himself caught between two worlds. His life outside, where he was a regular teenager with regular worries, and the world inside his grandfather's house, a world teetering on the edge of cosmic revelation. One evening, Jack stood on the threshold of the radio room, taking in the sight of his grandfather amidst the radio equipment, bathed in the soft glow of a single desk lamp. It was a world he didn't understand but was irresistibly drawn to. Herman glanced up at him, the heaviness of his discovery evident in his eyes. His voice, aged and weary, filled the room. "Jack, there's more to this than we can comprehend. I fear something's coming." The words hung in the air like a chilling premonition. Jack felt a cold shiver slither down his spine, a fear that was both profound and obscure. He couldn't help but think that the strange frequency had bound them to a fate they were yet to understand, to a story that was far from over. The invisible chains of the alien frequency were tightening, and the countdown to the invasion had started. As the unseen hand of time continued to turn the pages of their lives, Herman Baxter became an embodiment of obsession and determination. His world was painted with the shades of an enigmatic frequency. His conversations with the cosmic winds echoed through his dreams and woke him in cold sweats in the middle of the night. His radio room, the stage for his solitary dance with cosmic shadows, was a universe unto itself. It thrummed with the heartbeat of an unending signal, a signal that whispered, wailed, and sung tales from the beyond. The scent of vintage technology, mixed with the sharp, metallic tang of electricity, filled the room. Each buzz, each flicker of the aging machines, painted a vivid picture of the tireless pursuit of a secret bigger than humanity itself. His efforts started bearing fruit as he slowly began to decipher the cosmic messages. These were not mere random signals, but careful communication, filled with knowledge and forewarning. It spoke of their kind, their voyage across the vast emptiness of space, and their intention. Every decoded word added a piece to the terrifying puzzle, pointing towards a chilling truth, an impending alien invasion. Outside the walls of Herman's house, the sun continued to rise and set, casting long, unknowing shadows over the town. The rest of the world was oblivious to the dramatic turn of events happening within the walls of the old house. They were oblivious to the cosmic storm brewing over their heads. Jack's world, too, was in turmoil. He was tethered to two realities, one filled with teenage aspirations and trivial problems, and the other brimming with enigmatic frequencies and an impending disaster. The latter was terrifying, but the gravity of the situation was impossible to ignore. One afternoon, Jack found himself stepping over the threshold of the radio room again. He found his grandfather hunched over the desk, the wavering light from the desk lamp illuminating his furrowed brows. The room was filled with an undercurrent of anxiety that sent a shiver down Jack's spine. With a deep sigh, Herman looked up at Jack. "It's happening, Jack. They're coming," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of his findings. His words echoed in the room, creating ripples of dread and uncertainty. As Jack stared at his grandfather, his heartbeat resonating with the hum of the machines, he felt a cold sense of fear gripping him. The unseen presence of the alien frequency was drawing them deeper into its enigmatic vortex, a dance with cosmic shadows from which there was no turning back. The story of their lives was being rewritten, their fate intertwined with the messages from the stars. Herman Baxter's world was enveloped in static, in waves. A labyrinth of cryptic messages consumed him, his every thought dominated by the ghostly radio signals that danced in the air. His life had become a meticulous balancing act between decoding and making sense of these interstellar echoes. His radio room reflected his struggle. It had become a fortress of solitude, resonating with the symphony of equipment. The musky odor of aging machinery and old paper clung to the air. Shadows twisted and swayed in rhythm with the neon green waveforms flickering on the oscilloscope, painting an eerie landscape that was as mesmerizing as it was unsettling. With each passing day, Herman made progress in his decoding efforts. He translated the intricate pattern into a language we could understand, unveiling snippets of an alien narrative. The more he deciphered, the more he felt a gnawing dread unfurl within him. The messages were undeniably dire, a plan for invasion from beings beyond our realm. Outside the confines of the radio room, the world remained blissfully ignorant. The sun's radiance painted the town in warm hues during the day, while the night sprinkled it with sparkling diamonds of starlight. Life moved at its own steady rhythm, oblivious to the looming threat that lurked in the silence of the cosmos. Jack, too, found himself living in two vastly different realities. One, his usual life of school and friends, felt mundane and almost superficial compared to the cosmic drama unfolding in his grandfather's radio room. The strange frequency was no longer a source of mild curiosity, but a harbinger of an imminent danger that chilled him to the bone. One cool evening, Jack entered the radio room to find Herman intensely focused on a series of notes. The glow from the desk lamp cast long, grim shadows on Herman's face, making his deep-set wrinkles seem even more profound. There was a heaviness in the room that made Jack's heart pound in his chest. Herman looked up from his notes and met Jack's gaze. "We have to warn them, Jack," he said, his voice barely more than a whisper, yet the urgency in his tone was unmistakable. "We must warn the world." Fear prickled at the base of Jack's neck, making him shiver. He found himself standing at the precipice of an abyss that had been opened by the alien frequency. There was a sense of despair, but also a flicker of hope. Together, they had to find a way to alert humanity, and the first chapter of their daunting mission was about to unfold. The radio room had become Herman Baxter's universe, an island amid the sea of unremarkable mundanity. Here, the orchestra of humming machines and the chilling frequency painted a reality far removed from the world outside. The room smelled of old paper, warm circuits, and anticipation. The ethereal light from the equipment cast an otherworldly glow, reflecting the gravity of the mission that occupied Herman's every waking hour. His pursuit of deciphering the cosmic signals had borne the fruit of knowledge, a knowledge so potent that it threatened to shake the foundations of human understanding. As each day passed, he became more entangled in the alien narrative, the impending invasion a looming specter in his thoughts. The feeling was akin to being in a nightmare, the kind from which awakening offered no escape. Outside, life carried on in blissful ignorance. The sun caressed the town in its warmth, and the wind carried with it the scent of blooming flowers and distant rain. The tranquility was in stark contrast with the storm brewing in Herman's house, a storm foretelling extraterrestrial danger. Jack's life had also been hijacked by this extraordinary reality. His everyday existence of school, friends, and teenage dreams felt trivial compared to the unimaginable scale of what was unfolding within his grandfather's radio room. Each encounter with the strange frequency amplified the dissonance between his two lives, and the fear of an alien invasion felt all too real. One day, Jack found himself in the familiar ambience of the radio room. He watched his grandfather poring over stacks of notes, the room filled with an electric sense of urgency. Herman's countenance bore the strain of his intense dedication, his expression softened only by the wavering light of the desk lamp. "It's time, Jack," Herman declared, breaking the room's heavy silence. His voice held an edge of steely determination. "We have to make them listen. We have to make them believe." The ominous resonance of his words sent a chill coursing through Jack. He felt a formidable responsibility descend upon them. The secret they harbored was a double-edged sword, a devastating truth, and humanity's only chance for preparedness. Their task was monumental, and as the strange frequency hummed its ominous melody, they readied themselves for the uphill battle of convincing a skeptical world. Herman Baxter's reality was now twined irrevocably with the alien frequency. The radio room, brimming with the hum and buzz of equipment, was his sanctuary. The warmth of the old radio equipment mingled with the scent of ink and paper, becoming the fragrance of an extraordinary quest. Every dial and switch, every flickering light and waveform told the tale of an unwavering endeavor to decipher a message from the cosmos. The cryptic signals, once a source of curiosity, had unveiled a story that shook Herman to his core. An alien invasion was no longer a plot of science fiction, but a chilling prophecy. Each day brought him closer to the alien narrative, every decoded message compounding the gravity of their impending crisis. One late afternoon, Jack found Herman engrossed in the radio room, the hum of the machines and the crackle of the frequency the only sounds. The atmosphere was thick with focus and urgency, and Herman's stoic resolve was a beacon in the midst of chaos. "We have a plan, Jack," Herman announced, his voice cutting through the room's electric hum. "It's time to bring the truth to light. It's time to alert the world." The words hung heavy in the air, settling over Jack like a cold shroud. The weight of the truth was immense, a burden only they carried. The alien frequency, their secret companion, wove itself into their determination as they steeled themselves for the monumental task of waking up a world to a threat from the stars. Herman Baxter lived in a realm of crackling airwaves and cryptic transmissions. His sanctuary, the radio room, was steeped in the humming of age-old machines, infused with the aroma of warm wires and time-worn pages. The room was alive with the echo of interstellar signals, each sound and flickering light a testament to Herman's relentless pursuit of the alien narrative. One crisp morning, Jack found Herman engrossed in his work in the radio room. The air hummed with the tension of a solemn mission, and the room was filled with the steady drone of the radio frequency. Herman's face, etched with lines of determination, was softly lit by the glow of the machines. "Jack," Herman said, his voice steady and firm. "It's time. The world needs to hear this. We must tell them." His words sent a cold shiver down Jack's spine. The truth of their predicament was a chilling reality they had to reveal to an unsuspecting world. The alien frequency, a constant reminder of the urgency of their task, resonated in the room. As they braced themselves for the monumental task of sounding the cosmic alarm, their resolve was as unyielding as the frequency that brought them to this point. Within the confines of his radio room, Herman Baxter existed in a universe shaped by the buzz of ancient machinery and the pulse of alien communication. The room, teeming with an orchestra of electrical hums and rhythmic ticking, was a portal to a cosmic drama unfolding far beyond human reach. The extraterrestrial signal, initially a tantalizing enigma, had transformed into a terrifying prophecy. The whispers of invasion echoing across the cosmos were no longer just crackling sounds on a radio, but the tolling bells of doom for humanity. Life outside the radio room, bathed in the warmth of the sun and lulled by the whispering wind, seemed frozen in blissful ignorance. The town's rhythm of daily routines and joyful laughter was untouched by the looming catastrophe hidden within Herman's house. For Jack, the gap between the two worlds he inhabited was widening. His school days and friendships were becoming an echoing backdrop against the cosmic horror show playing out in his grandfather's radio room. The strange frequency that had become an omnipresent character in their lives was no longer a source of wonder but a chilling symbol of fear. On a gloomy afternoon, Jack found Herman at the epicenter of this alien saga. The room pulsed with the rhythm of the interstellar transmission, amplifying the gravity of their mission. The wavering light from the machines danced on Herman's stern face, highlighting his grit and determination. "Jack, we've reached the point of no return," Herman uttered, his voice carrying the weight of their monumental task. "It's time the world heard the truth. The room seemed to hold its breath at his words. The gravity of their secret, a dread-laden truth they alone carried, rested heavily on their shoulders. As the alien frequency weaved its ominous tale, they steeled themselves to sound the alarm. The world, oblivious and unprepared, was on the brink of a revelation that would echo through the corridors of time. The radio room was Herman Baxter's cosmic station, the epicenter of the otherworldly drama playing out in hushed whispers and cryptic transmissions. Each electrical hum, each rhythmic whir of the ancient machines, echoed the secret that threatened to rewrite the course of humanity's future. The ethereal frequency, which started as a mysterious puzzle, had evolved into a warning, a harbinger of an invasion from the stars. It was no longer a mere ripple in the airwaves, but a solemn bell tolling a countdown to a crisis of cosmic proportions. Outside the solemn walls of Herman's home, life was a picture of serenity, untouched by the specter of the impending doom. The everyday symphony of laughter, the scent of blooming flowers, and the whisper of the wind carried on, undisturbed and blissfully unaware. Jack's existence was now divided between two stark realities. His everyday life, with its school routines and innocent friendships, seemed distant and faint against the backdrop of the alien threat that now filled their lives. The eerie frequency, once an intriguing mystery, was now a chilling reminder of the danger that loomed. On a frosty morning, Jack joined Herman in the radio room. The low drone of the equipment underscored the urgency of their mission, and the room pulsated with the intensity of their resolve. In the dim light, Herman's stern expression reflected the gravity of their situation. "Jack," Herman said, his voice firm, "they're here." Herman opened the curtain to the room to reveal the haunting sight of alien spacecraft filling the once serene sky. Jack's heart sank into his chest, realizing it was too late to prepare the world. That invasion was already here. That was the frequency, a tale that leaves us questioning what truly lies beyond our realm of understanding. As we sign off, we leave you in the haunting silence of your thoughts, echoing with the alien whispers that promise to linger long after our voices fade. Until next time, brave souls, remember, not all is as it seems, and the truly terrifying tales are those that are grounded in a possible reality. This is our Scary Stories signing off for tonight.